For one of the first times in recent history, the bad guys are telling us they are bad, which is a good thing. And I want to frame that in the best way I possibly can. So I grew up in a time where I didn't think like the people in power were that bad, right? I was probably like an ignorant little kid because I was just a kid and I thought like the world was like sunshine and rainbows and stuff. But especially with like certain presidents who just like talked like really intelligent people who wanted to help their community. You know what I mean? Growing up with people like that, whether it's like Obama, who I know isn't perfect, and maybe like the senators on my state, maybe other countries too, maybe just leaders in general too, they kind of led me down that path to believe that there was a lot of good in this world. And it was kind of crazy to see the cracks start showing as I got older. And I would notice that a lot of the people who were good were not good, whether it's like Apple, whether it's Google, whether it's big companies and CEOs, or politicians, or my teachers, or my parents. You know, I don't know. It might be personal, it might be a little bit far away from me, but still interferes with my life, right? There's a big spectrum to everything, but I want to talk about how important it is right now to use this to your advantage. People are not afraid to be racist. They aren't afraid to hate minority groups. They aren't afraid to oppress people and literally say how they feel. No matter how hateful and awful and horrendous it is, they just say how they feel now, right? And we kind of know why this happened. I'm not going to get into the history of how this all happened. Obviously, a big person came into power that promotes that type of ideology of just saying whatever the freak you want and being rude to people and gets away with it. So then a lot of other people think they can too. That seems like one of the worst things in the world, but it's not. Okay? Just like if you're in a relationship and someone cheats, it seems like the worst thing in the world, but it's not, because that person just told you, not with words, but with actions, that they are not a good partner. The same thing is happening with politicians, with CEOs, with people in power, maybe even with your friends, with your neighbors. The same exact thing is happening. It seems bad on the surface when all these people are being racist and homophobic and sexist and borderline Yahtzees, right? And it seems horrible on the surface, but they're literally telling you who they are. This is the worst. Okay, like for example, one of my favorite books is right here, The Art of War. Okay, this book would literally make fun of these people in power right now because of how stupid they're being. You never, ever, ever want to tell your enemy exactly who you are. And this is what our enemies are doing right now. People are not afraid to just publicly hate groups of people. But at the same time, if we read between the lines, we can also find out what motivates them. We can find out what they're attracted to. Even if it's the most heinous stuff in the world, like children and just a ton of money and power, we can still use it to our advantage, right? The best we can. For example, let's say I posted a video talking about how much I love this president. That would attract people who also like this president. But now, I've reeled them in. I've hooked them on something. And I can use that to my advantage to talk about certain things they might resonate with, but then push them in a different direction that they might not be used to, right? But in a subtle way. Something like that. That's just an example of what I could do. But imagine what you could do. Imagine what people in power could do if they use this to their advantage. So once again, what seems so scary, which is people being racist, homophobic, hurtful, hateful, all of this stuff. It seems so scary, but they are telling you who they are. I love when my friends, who I thought were my friends, just are racist. And then I'm like, oh, well, you're not my friend anymore. It's really fun to live in this day and age where they just literally tell you how they are and they don't care. That is so helpful to me because now I don't have to be like, is this person racist? They just are. They either are or they aren't. Right? I get really upset that there's no really middle grounds anymore. It's either left or right. Like there's like no one treats anything like there's a middle ground. But this is one of those things where I'm happy there's no middle ground. I am so freaking happy that it's not like 10 years ago where you could be racist but like be quiet about it. Now, if you're racist, you just are. You know what I mean? So it's there definitely is a light at the end of the tunnel, right? People are going to get hurt, unfortunately, and I don't know what to do about that. It definitely is not going to be easy. It definitely is going to be warlike. Um, but this is one of the best advantages we could ever have, is to literally have the enemies tell us who they are and what their motivations are. You know what I mean? It's the same thing that a lot of like there's people who are researching the ICE stuff and like that happening, and they're basically finding out that so many secrets of what the ICE people are being told to do come out from ICE people and women. Okay, to put that into more simple, I know I did a horrible job at explaining that, but basically, ICE officers will be with a woman like in bed or whatever and basically tell them their secrets because like they're trying to be like all cool, right? They're trying to be like, ooh, because they're probably sexist and all that too, so they need to like establish some authority over this petty little woman, right? So that's how they see the world, I think. But that's how we are finding out their secrets, is through their weaknesses, right? So now, if they are literally telling us their weaknesses, we've never had a better leg up. We've never had a better chance to put a leg up and be like, look, we are in control now. You know what I mean? So, if you are younger, obviously, I don't think you're going to just change the world tomorrow, or you can really do anything to stop this. But I do want you to look at maybe at school, maybe at your job, maybe just with your friends in your friend group, maybe even family, if that's something that's going on, right? It's really good to be mindful of the fact that you can use it to your advantage when people out themselves as being hateful. You know what I mean? Instead of just seeing it as in these people are awful, you can instead see they're literally telling me what motivates them. They're literally telling me what drives them in life. And you can use that to your advantage, bro. It's literally back to like old times at that point where it's like you can just bait people. If you know someone will do anything for money and then you have some money right here, they're going to go try to get it, right? Literally, even Microsoft, I found out, has this really good way of making a database of stuff. And they have signed a contract with Israel that they even said, this was before the big genocides were happening. I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube, but the genocides, right? Before those were happening in Israel, in the P country, I think I can say it, Palestine, right? So before that was all happening, or when it was about to happen, Israel wanted to use Microsoft's database. And Microsoft literally made a statement saying that this could kill people. They literally made a statement fully acknowledging how dangerous it would be to let them use their database. And then they signed a deal to let them use their database. Right? That's just one example of so many I have been finding out recently that have been just coming out as facts, right? People in power being fully aware of how harmful they are being, but they don't care because they get money. They get more power. And it's genuinely concerning. I mean, it's been concerning for a while, but now it's like, dude, Microsoft worked with my school. You know what I mean? My school email was Outlook. My school email was Microsoft 365 when I was growing up. And this is the same company that is partnered with Israel, fully acknowledging that they are killing people. Right? That's the type of stuff where it's like they are literally telling us how they feel and what their motives are. There is never a better chance to use that to your advantage than right now. There's no more secrets. Every single thing is coming to light because they don't get punished for it. So we have to somehow find a way to use that to our advantage, right? exploit our strengths and their weaknesses. And they are literally telling us they are literally handing over their weaknesses so we know who they are. We don't even have to do anything. We literally have to be like, oh, hey, I'm gay. And then this person will be like, oh, you're gay. And then we instantly know how that person acts. We instantly know how that person lives their life. We instantly know who that person looks up to. We instantly know what attracts that person, right? And we can use that to our advantage. I don't think violence is the answer. I don't think anything like that is the answer. But you can take down entire corporations, entire systems, if you just know what motivates them. If you know what gears are turning the system, you can manipulate it in a way you want to. I'm not saying I can, but I'm saying that on a more smaller level, we all can, right? Whether it's school, community, family, friends, all that type of stuff, right? We can 100% apply this there. My framework would basically be to just use your brain a little bit and don't act out of anger, okay? I'm not saying that if you act out of anger, you're dumb. I'm not trying to say that, because I want to act out of anger too. But you have to understand that if these people are racist, they already won't see you as a person. You know what I'm saying? If these people are homophobic and Yahtzees, they're not going to see you as a person. So there's no reason for you to get angry over them when they're literally not going to see you as a person, bro. These people aren't like a human. They aren't human. They are literally manipulated to the max to not even be a person who sees us as people. So instead of getting angry and instead of getting mad over that, use it to your advantage, bro. They are telling you exactly what moves them, exactly what direction they will go in. So all you have to do is just pave the road and have them walk on it. That's simple, right? I can't think of too many like specific examples of this besides just like racism and whatnot. And like the ICE thing I was saying earlier. But basically, I think anyone could really think about this type of subject and benefit from it. So I did want to talk about it. I think it's definitely something that's been on my mind recently, right? Because at first I was really scared about the fact that everyone around me was just homophobic now, right? Like all the friends I meet in real life are just racist and horrible people. And I go online and find that other people also think that a lot of people are horrible people, right? So it is demotivating on the surface. But then you realize, bro, what gets promoted the most on social media? Hate. So do you think you're going to see all the people who are nice? Do you think I'm going to see all the people who think like me? No. I'm going to see the posts that are supposed to make me mad. So I'm going to think everyone's evil. But in reality, bro, I promise you the majority of people are not that evil, right? I think they might be a little evil, but not that, like, not like racist. I think they should die evil, you know? I think that's pretty rare. And it is something that shows almost a sign of hurt. You know what I mean? Like, I think people who are overly racist are hurt inside. I don't think you can be a perfectly stable mental person and be racist. I don't think those go together at all. At all. I think that is literally impossible to be perfectly mentally okay and knowing about the world and then also racist. I think those don't clash, you know? It's the same thing where it's like people who go to college become more liberal because they just learn more and they start to understand how stupid it is to just be racist. You know what that's the facts right there. So I think, once again, we can use this to our advantage. It's not the end of the world. It just seems like it on the surface. But just like the cheating analogy, they are telling you who they are, bro, without even saying anything. So yeah, I think there's a lot we can do with this. Tell me your thoughts down below. This is a discussion I would actually love to have more. Honestly, I think about this a bit, and I think this is something that really could help people. So I wanted to talk about it. Listen to Blakey on all platforms. Blakey, music, Blakey everywhere. And if you want to listen to my old music, IJB Luma. Like JBL, but IJB Luma. Everywhere. Okay, I'll see y'all. Subscribe to, or if something like that. Like the video. I don't even know.